Good evening, folks. It's the old redneck again with another rant. As most of you know, and probably already tuned off the minute you see this. But today's rant is not going to probably have a lot of cursing, screaming, hollering, yelling. I just want to bring a few events that I found fairly disturbing, to me at least, and probably will be to most every veteran out there, or even regular civilian who's never served. Things you won't hear on the mainstream news, and hell, I guess we're lucky to get it on the alternate news. These first two, all three concern executive orders that were signed by our illustrious so-called president that's in charge. Sorry, been a long day at work. First one, for those people that like to fact check things, look things up, is Executive Order number 14302. And that bans the, well, actually, that's the second one, but it's okay. It's an executive order banning the national anthem at all sporting events or public events, effective December 1st. The president signed this into law early this morning. It was dated November 1st. If you violate it, individuals that violate this order can face fines of up to $5,000 and up to 1 year in federal prison. He says he did this. He said his decision is a show of solidarity with the athletes who have been taking a knee during the anthem to protest police brutality. The president went on to say that the language used in the anthem is violent and hostile to African Americans. If the recent protests by athletes like San Francisco's 49er quarterback Colin Kaepernick have taught us anything, it's that the anthem is far too violent and far too polarizing to have any place in the national discourse. Our nation is being torn apart by a song that is outdated and jingoistic. Without swift action, we cannot move forward as a nation. We cannot heal the wounds of a racial division. How can we expect our police officers to stop killing African Americans when the very song of our nation is one that glorifies killing? Oh, he also said he would consider rescinding the order if Congress can come up with a politically correct version that more accurately reflects our changing values as a nation. There is what it looks like for anybody. You can see the author, CNN reporter. That was number 2 on my list. Number 1 on my list I saw a couple weeks ago, but it was signed into, I heard a rumor about it, I should say, a couple weeks ago, but it was signed into law December 1st, and it is Executive Order number 13738 for the fact checkers. It revokes the federal government's official recognition of the Pledge of Allegiance. It makes it now illegal for any federally funded agency to display the pledge, or for any federal employee to recite or encourage others to recite the pledge while on duty. This law also applies to federal contractors and other institutions that receive federal funding, such as public schools. Individuals who violate this order can face fines up to $10,000 and up to 1 year in federal prison. The president explained his decision was based on a personal belief that the language used in the pledge is decisive and contrary to America's deepest held values. The pledge excludes so many Americans who are vital to making this country what it is. Asking someone to pledge their allegiance to our country excludes Jehovah's Witnesses, Amish, Muslims, and many others whose religious belief prohibits strong displays of nationalism. By calling this one nation under God, we exclude the millions of hardworking atheists and agnostics who call America home. By saying liberty and justice for all, we ignore the grievances of millions of Hispanics, African Americans, and Muslims who feel they neither have liberty or justice. My personal opinion is both of those are a crock of shit. But what do I know? I'm old, I'm white, I'm a veteran. Sue me. Whatever. I don't care. This last one is the one that really has me worried. And for years, people have been telling me that I'm crazy, that I'm a nutcase, that I didn't know what I was talking about when I said this shit was coming down the pike. This was signed into this executive order was signed according to this article July 1st. And let's see if I can find the executive order number on this thing. Let's see. I saw it in here someplace. I know it's a long son of a bitch. Gotta find a number on it. Actually, it has no number on it. It just says executive order. But he signed an executive order allowing the military, the U.S. military, to fight U.S. citizens. And it's got, what is this thing? 13 pages of it. All right there. All broke down. And yeah, you're going to say, oh, that came from some right-wing news thing. And yeah, you're probably right. It did. But the thing you got to understand, you look at if you take the time to go to your newswire and pull that up and read all the provisions in there. What it reads to me like is rules of engagement in a theater of war. Now, a few personal comments from this old man. For those who listen, those who just laugh it off, you do what you do. For over 200 years, this country has held the beliefs that the people made their own destiny. You had a right to speak your mind. You obeyed the laws, you got along fine. You know, there were unwritten laws that everybody followed. You got along with your neighbors. But if you threw your trash over your fence into your neighbor's yard, your neighbor's liable to kick your ass. Too many people nowadays get their feelings bent out of shape over nothing. Hell, 10 years ago it'd be a joke. Everybody'd laugh about it. Nowadays, you give a gal a compliment, she wants to sue you for sexual harassment. You can't even walk down the street saying hello to anybody or good day without them thinking you're going to rob them. People that obey the laws, you know, tend to be crucified. People that break the laws or talk about, oh, gang banging this bitch or shooting up this club, or I'm going to get my Glock and pop a couple caps in your ass. They make millions of dollars. You talk about the old ways, truth, justice, your fellow man, the American way. You're ridiculed. You say anything against anybody's religion, it's a hate crime. You say anything against anybody that's black, Latino, Muslim, whatever, you're going to jail for a hate crime. They say something about a white person, oh, they're cheered on. Oh, well, that's the way the world's going nowadays. So be it. As a veteran of this fine country, I've been around 60 years. I've seen a lot of fads come and go. I see bad times coming. And it don't matter if you're white, black, Muslim, Catholic, Buddhist, Hispanic, Asian. The piece of crap that's sitting in the Oval Office right now is setting it up so we all fail. He's trying to set it up so that we all are involved in either a race war or a civil war. Pure and simple. The government has gotten to the point to where they don't care about the people anymore. We're redundant. What they care about is those 5 or 10 corporations that keep putting food in their pockets, money in their pockets, and food on their table. By the people and for the people went out the window about 8 years ago. I don't know if we can turn it around. I know they're trying to push every Patriot's buttons to get them to flip off the deep end. And I'm not just talking the so-called nutcases in Idaho and down south, these militias. I'm talking the normal everyday folks that get up at 9 o'clock in the morning, go to work till 5 o'clock, come home, put their feet down and watch a damn football game or do schoolwork with their kids. You know, he's trying to push every button he can push on everybody. And all I got to say to everybody is we all need to watch what we're doing. Because I don't think the 3% that are in the military that stand the wall defending this country are going to follow orders and turn against the U.S. citizens. But the government doesn't need them to. The government has the Department of Homeland Security as their own private little army. And if that's not enough, they also have the UN troops they've brought in. And before people think the beer's doing the talking, that's the first one of the night. It won't be the last. Because frankly, the shit this son of a bitch is doing is scaring the hell out of me. He seems to think he's untouchable. Just like the senators, the congressmen all do. They all seem to think that they are untouchable. Nobody can touch them. We're going to touch on another subject here real quick. I'm going to talk about my friend Joey. Ones that have watched these videos in the past know who I'm talking about. Or they know his name. They don't know him. Refresher, he's a 23-year-old kid. Joined the Army right out of high school to do the right thing, do what his country asked him to do. Was sent over to Afghanistan. 3 years. Got disabled. 60%. Got a medical discharge. Got a VA voucher to get an apartment. And all these corporation-owned apartments, hey, oh yeah, we're vet friendly, we're going to accept the VA voucher, all that. All you need to do is pass a credit check. I don't know any 23-year-olds that can pass a credit check, especially if they've never tried to get credit. They've now offered him a chance to live in a motel in a bad area of town so they can write, well, it's over with. We helped you, see? Aren't you proud of us? Lives in the state of Massachusetts. 3 senators in his area. Not a single one will touch the case. Not a single one will go against the corporations that own the business houses to stop this credit check trap. Because according to one of the VA people they're working with, that is a common ploy to reject the vets. Especially after our illustrious commander-in-chief and all the Democratic senators said, oh yes, anybody that went into the military has got to be mentally deranged because they were willing to do it. And if they get out of the military, we know they're mentally damaged. So you can't touch them, can't trust them. They'll flip off at the drop of a hat. I've been out of the military since 72. I've yet to flip out. Though this shit's getting me close. There's a lot of vets out there. I don't know if anybody ever watches these things. I get very few comments on them, if any. I got a whole 4 subscribers, so I guess that's good. More than I had 6 months ago. So, what we need to do is start looking at our own congressmen, our own senators. Look at how many years they've been in office and what they've actually done besides lying in their own pockets. Maybe it's time to start looking at the libertarian parties, the green parties. Get somebody into those offices that ain't a politician. And yeah, that's what I'm trying for with the president. I've said for years, let's get a businessman in here, try to make this country something again. Obama's wrong. Pure, nothing but wrong. Ever since he's gotten into office, anytime he's been around where there's a flag ceremony, he's always holding his crotch or looking away. What actual American president has ever done that? None that I've ever been able to find. You know? Is he holding his crotch because he's trying to find his balls? I don't know. I do know the shit he's trying to push in Syria and the South China Sea is scaring the hell out of me. Because he's a dumb son of a bitch. He's trying to stir a race war here in the United States so he can declare martial law. That's one battlefield. He's trying to poke the Russian bear when we have no business over there. That's going to start a war. That's battlefield number 2. And he's poking around China. I can't find it in my soul of souls to believe the Navy's taking it upon themselves to go and try to antagonize China without orders. The Navy I was in wouldn't do that. But then, you know, the Navy I was in didn't work for this so-called New World Order that they're trying to build. And for years, I didn't believe in that. But looking at this last year and a half, I'm starting to. We got a presidential candidate who's lied to Congress, lied to the American people, lied to the FBI. Hell, she gave away nuclear secrets in a presidential debate. And she's still walking around? You got a seaman off a sub that accidentally took pictures of part of the sub, lost his phone, somebody else found it, he's in Leavenworth. You got a 4-star general that slept around, and he's out for classified information failure. How in the hell is that bitch still out walking? What the hell does she have on the FBI, the Justice Department, and all that, where she's still allowed to go free? I would like to know. She says she wants transparency. Well, get transparent, bitch. Or is it because she has something on Obama that's keeping her out on the streets? That's something for y'all to decide. And as for that black young gentleman that's claiming to be Bill Clinton's kid. He's been trying to get a DNA test for years. They keep fighting it. You have to ask yourself why. Why are they fighting it? Why do they want the controversy? If they didn't want the controversy, do the test. If it comes back negative, guess what? You lied. You told the truth, they lied. Move on. No, let's keep it in the news. Sooner or later, that poor kid's going to run out of money and people funding him, where he'll just disappear, like everybody else that's confronted the Clintons. I just don't know, people. I think bad times are coming. I think we all need to get our shit together. Watch what the government's doing instead of blindly going on to your 9-to-5 job and thinking everything's hunky-dory. I got the football game to watch tonight, boys. We're having a party at my house. Let's go. Because the damn son of bitches are trying to stab y'all in the back. The 1%ers want us all back to being slaves and servants. I don't do the mammy routine very good. I don't do the yes sir, thank you, may I have another, may I have another, may I have another. No, I don't do that. I don't play that shit. I made this video the other night, and I made the same comment to the powers that be. Actually, I addressed it strictly to the president, but I'll put this to all of them. You keep saying you want my guns. I'll give them to you. The minute you give up all your bodyguards, the minute you walk the streets us normal Americans have to walk, come out from your gated and guarded communities. Let's see you depend on an overstretched law enforcement department to try to protect you, to come when you call 911. Hope you don't get put on hold on 911. You know, there is something to be said for the right of self-defense. The funny thing is, a lot of these lawmakers that want to take away our guns, if you do the research, most of them already have concealed carry permits. Oh, that's right. They can pay the judge off to get them. Oh, and by the way, out here in California, our illustrious governor has signed into order allowing illegals to have driver's licenses. Which I really don't have much of a problem with. They're here anyway. But by having a driver's license in California, that gives you the right to vote. The last time I looked, the U.S. Constitution said you had to be a citizen to vote. If I'm wrong, tell me so in the comments. If you like what you hear, subscribe. If you don't like what you hear, comment, or you can send me an email at redneckrebel1956@gmail.com. Good, bad, or indifferent, I'll answer every email I get. Till the next time, it's the old redneck saying y'all be good, be safe, keep your eyes open, and don't let the players play you. This country's in for a shitstorm, people. Don't step into the trap they're trying to lay for you. Till then, y'all have a good evening, good night, and goodbye.